And now, the pros and cons. One of the pros I like about this fan is that it has extremely thick blades that are nice and rounded. It's essentially a small version of the second generation Lakewood blades, which had the same philosophy of being very fat, but also circulating a lot of air. And as you can see, the same overall philosophy is there, but it's much smaller. Another pro is that this fan, despite being a current modern fan manufactured in China, it is of extremely good quality. Look, very thick metal that they use to secure and to actually fabricate the fan. The base is rock solid. So if you were to search these fans on the internet and wonder what the word VFAN means, it essentially means vintage fan or vintage recreation fan, because this is a modern day current replica that you can buy today brand new, because these fans are in active production today. So these fans are currently in active production. These are being made and sold today. Another pro is that I absolutely love this vintage style emblem. It's very reminiscent of the 1940s, 1950s, especially back in the day where putting chrome accents, or in this case, painted steel accents, was extremely common. But of course, this fan, despite being a modern day fan that is, by the way, in current production, has this because it's a callback to those very distant days in the 40s and 50s. I also love the Vornado logo on the base. It's a nice callback. And of course, the fact that it blows an insanely good amount of air despite its small size. And now for the cons. One of the biggest cons about these fans is that the bearings, for whatever reason, do not seem to come fully lubricated, because I actually had to lubricate the bearings using petroleum-based synthetic oils. And I essentially had to do that because on the low speed it was making a very interesting sound, like a sound, like a chuffing sound, because of the fact that the motor was not lubricated, or at least not lubricated enough, or lubricated with water-based lubricants, which is only really good for either RC cars and other children's toys, or for very small fans, and not for shaded pull motors like the ones in this fan. But either way, I fixed that easily by using oil. And I believe nowadays, I think Vornado fixed the issue of these fans not coming with oil. So I believe nowadays, if you do buy these, there's a good chance that they are already lubricated enough to not need oil for many years. Another interesting con is that, as you probably saw, the blades weren't perfectly balanced because they kind of moved back after the spin down time. But overall, that's not really a con, because I think it's a very small little issue that, quite frankly, is not really a cause for alarm, because it's not exactly a con. It's just a small little imperfection. But I mean, virtually no fans, both vintage and modern, ever come out perfect in the first place, so that's not really like a con. Overall, I would have to give this fan 4.5 out of 5 stars. This is an excellent fan. I recommend to buy this fan, regardless if you love vintage fans or modern fans, I think this fan is fantastic enough to satiate the tastes of both old and new collectors alike, because this fan is built like an old fan and it performs like an old fan despite being a new fan that you can currently buy and is currently in production today. Thank you for watching, and like and subscribe.